Come on, tough guy.
Sons of Scotland, I am William Wallace, and I see a whole army of my countrymen, but they'll never take our freedom!
Welcome to the final Flat Earth Friday that you can get your predictions in for the final false dichotomy experiment. How are you doing this evening, brother?
I'm great. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Please hit like, jump in the chat, say hi. It's good to see everybody.
It is good. I mean, this is the culmination of basically 8 years of work for us. And I couldn't feel better right now. I really feel great because we've got all the predictions. And so tonight we're going to be going through our personal predictions that we have for each one of these characters involved. We're going to be putting our predictions out there so that there's a chance that we might be right. And we are going to encourage all of you to make your predictions as well. This is your opportunity to do it, because what's going to be happening now is soon we're going to be getting results from Antarctica, and things are going to be going one way or the other. And only an educated person is going to have a prediction that has a chance of coming right. So all your years of experience added up, what are your predictions going to be? We're going to be putting ours out there. We're going to be putting out models that are accurate to 100th of a degree per second. And believe it or not, there was one last minute submission from a globe earther. And we actually do have one model to look at from the heliocentrics as far as, you know, the balls in space, what they're predicting. And that's going to be fun to go through as well.
Yeah, it's all shaping up to be, quite an interesting leveling of the playing field. So let's get into the topic, okay? So since we last spoke last Friday, we now have the contestants in the final experiment, the PSYOP team down in Punta Arenas. And lo and behold, everything that we expected to take place is absolutely taking place. They haven't been able to film a sunrise or sunset yet. They've been down there for 2 full days, sunrise and sunsets. All their live streams have been just horrible. Between Witsit just staring at himself in the camera, Jaren and them just walking around aimlessly, falling downstairs. It's been a disaster. Now, off camera, have they been filming for the documentary? Absolutely. We've had predictions. We've had the drama. We've had everything taking place, just what we expected to take place. So when we realized that the regular popular flat earthers over 8 years ago were denying the fact that the pressurized pizza dome with the one pole with the sun and the moon and the stars circling around Polaris was impossible, when we showed them, and they denied that that was reality, and that they continued to vehemently fight against us, ostracize us, smear campaigns, have us completely kicked off of YouTube, in my case, with my channel completely gone, we knew that there was a larger game at play. And that was the falsification of the Bible. So what they've done is they've tied the single pole pressurized pizza dome map model to the Bible with bad transliterations and blue letter Bible quotes, like the firmament is supposedly supposed to be something firm because the word firmament sounds like the English word firm, when really it's just relating to the stars and the heavenly bodies, the way they were beautifully put into the sky. So now, fast forward, the same group, at least Jaren, the character that besmirched us and mocked us and ostracized us and made sure that everybody mocked us in the community, is now flown to South America, to the very tip of South America, as far down as you could possibly go. What is it, the Strait of Magellan?
Yeah, Punta Arenas is right on the Strait of Magellan. Ushuaia is just a little bit past it, but they're both very close.
So they're close to Ushuaia. And what we had told Jaren, Jason, you want to tell, so you spoke to Jaren, I don't know if it was before me or after me, but I did a live stream with him and I showed them I showed him the sunrise sunset angles that were south of east rise and south of west set in the November, December, January months in a podcast on Beyond Flat Earth, because my main channel's gone now. And you had a interview not only with Jaron, but it was also with David Weiss, right?
Yeah, what you're talking about is the foundation, the reason we came to fundamental truth number 2. Look in the description box, everybody. That came out in September of 2018. Was because what we did is when we saw that the Freemason New World Order pressurized pizza dome was impossible, we went around and started making videos about it and telling the other content creators that were pushing it how it was impossible. So the first person that reached out to me was David Weiss in a Skype call. And after I explained to him over and over and over again how the sun was rising south of east and setting south of west, everywhere from between the fall equinox to the spring equinox, he finally said, let me bring Jaron in on this. So right away he had Jaron in on the call, and I explained the exact same thing to Jaron. And after going back and forth, showing him over and over and over that the sun is rising from the south of east, setting to the south of west, he finally conceded, fine, you've ruined my week. And then that was it. And they went immediately back to what they've been doing, and that's promoting the impossible model. So we were able to see that there was an agenda at play, and that these persons were sticking with this model and using specific words, trying to make it biblical. And these were some of the most satanic characters within Flat Earth that were calling all of a sudden this Flat Earth, a biblical cosmology, and trying to tie it to a dome and a firmament and all that kind of stuff. And we could see clearly that this was part of a false dichotomy PSYOP. And then even before fake pastor Will Dufas came around, we had already come to the and told our audience about the model that we use, how it predicts a 24-hour sun in the north and the south, even though we hadn't seen it yet. We continually scoured the internet, looking through all the things that you can find on YouTube for real evidence of a 24-hour sun in the north and in the south, and there was none until all of a sudden Zwars came along and shared a link to a video that appeared to be an actual 24-hour sun in the north. That's the only clip that we've ever seen. Everybody keeps on saying that there's all this evidence of a 24-hour sun in the north, and there's only one video that's come up. Now, since this final false dichotomy PSYOP has come up, now all of a sudden there's all this evidence for a 24-hour sun in the south, and still only that one evidence in the north. But there's one model that predicts that, and it's the model that also has the sun, moon, and stars rising from Earth and setting into Earth everywhere between 66.5 degrees north latitude and south latitude. So this is all going to come down to models, and there is only one model, and it's the model that we are sharing.
So, okay, fast forward, right? We got out ahead of it. We made the fundamental truths, and we put down there that fundamental truth number 2 was that they were trying to tie the AE map and model pizza pressurized dome to the Bible so that they could debunk both. All right. So fast forward to today. Here we are. Jaron and them are down there now. And Will Dufas has only been on the scene for less than a year. His channel was created last December. Right. He's brand new. So they're down there now. They haven't been able. So they almost got a sunset today to show us. They did have cloud cover, unfortunately, so that we could still see they had their app. They were trying to use their compass. They couldn't give us any azimuth readings. They were trying. I think they ended up saying the sun was18 degrees, which is way south of west. Way. So, and what ended up happening the first night was after the sunset, the sunlight actually moved south from west, southwest to east, southeast, completely falsifying their coffee cup caustic narrative. So it was after I showed Jaron that the sun set west of east and rose west of east, that he started saying, but after the sunset, the light drifted to the north still, and that it was just an illusion, or coffee cup caustic was making it look like the sun was traveling the other way. Well, now they actually have the footage of it moving from right to left or from west back to east, and then the sun rising again. So they've already falsified the AE map badly. This is what I want everybody to understand. They couldn't have picked two more worse candidates. Not that I'm not happy that they're going. I want the information. I want the truth. I'm thankful that, Deceiver Will Dufas came along, and Jaron Campanella and Witsit Gets It, whatever his, Austin Witsit, whatever his real name is, and Lisbeth and all these characters. I'm glad they're here, right? This is what we wanted. But see, the thing is that we knew that they weren't going to be honest. And not only that, they chose two characters. They're already whining and bitching like little kids that their hands are cold. They two guys that don't live in climates where it goes below freezing ever, right? One lives in LA and one lives in Florida. So the documentary crew picked them, right? So they're already filming. They've already falsified the coffee cup caustic narrow. So every single thing that we tried to tell Jaron and we tried to warn all the flat earth community about has been proven. It's all standing firm and true. Everything that we saw, including to over a year ago, Jason, you were the first one arguing with me live saying, this model that we're using here, it does predict a 24-hour sun in both the north and the south. And I said, I have to see it with my own eyes. I pushed back, and it's the same way that when I go around trying to share this information, I get that same pushback. And then we did finally, thanks to Zworst, get footage. We only have seen one, and it's not even a 24-hour time lapse of the sun that Zworst shared. It was only the period of time where the sun was supposed to set, and it did not. It might have been an hour of footage or 2 hours, but it was genuine enough that we saw it, and we do believe that it was real. So now we have proof, and we've been saying before Will showed up in his false dichotomy, we were saying that there is a 24-hour sun in the north and the south. So here they are. It's almost as if the creator is working through these shills and deceivers, because we know that Will's been saying you got to spend money to make money. So whether he's spending the money, I honestly, Jason, I'm going to throw it to you because I've been rambling here. I think that ALE and the government set all this up. I believe this is a CIA, Mossad, MI6, 7 Unit 8200, all the different powers that be right down from the fallen angels down. An operation set up to reaffirm the fact that we live in a heliocentric, Big Bang spinning ball cosmology where atheism rules the day and where they get to decide which is moral and which is not. So I believe we're at that point where they're going to go down, and scarily enough, they are saying that there is a good chance there's going to be heavy cloud cover. But we know that you can still film the sun through clouds. We filmed a solar eclipse last year with cloud cover, and we could clearly see it. So if they get that, that is enough for me to believe that the other footage that we've already been showing of the last solar eclipse, December 4th, 2021, in the Union Glacier Station, is actually been verified, been, repeated. And that's what we're here for. So I'm really excited to see everything that we've been talking about come to fruition. And, Jason, I'm going to throw it back to you. My last point is for, I know they're not here. They hate us, but every single one of you, right down to I had a conversation with Carl Taylor, where's Daniel Pratt, every single Dr. Zach, all of the flat earthers, Tiger Dan, every single one of you that we went to, Eric Dubay, we personally took years out of our lives, ODD TV. We dedicated our time, not for money, not for fame, but to be censored, but we did this to share the truth with you. We did it to protect the fact that the earth is, yes, repeatably, observably, and verifiably flat, but the celestial bodies actually do rotate around us, rising from earth and setting into earth. And we did this, and I just want to say to you, all of you on that side that didn't listen to me, that called me out, that kicked me out of the community, that mocked me behind my back, I forgive you. I forgive you. You're faced with a decision now. Now that it's being completely debunked, what we had debunked 8 years ago, you have a choice to make. Are you going to go back to Big Bang atheist, evolved from monkey cosmology? Or are you going to come stand with the stereographic biblical virtual reality and start to actually take back your power and understand that this non-materialistic, pixelated virtual reality is actually here for us to enjoy, not for them. So again, I forgive you all. It's time that everybody comes to the truth and starts to understand that Jason and I, we did this to protect the truth. We did this because we were led by the Spirit. We didn't do this for any other reason. And we're not trying to gloat. We're not trying to be puffed up, right? We are just here for the truth. And that's it.
A competition is taking place right now, everybody, for the true model of reality. And there's 3 competitors in it, and only one is the true and accurate model. So we're going to continue to show what the only model that actually has accurate data is the one that we're sharing. We're going to show what the Freemason New World Order pressurized pizza dome predicts. We're going to show what the heliocentric ball in space predicts. And we're going to put our predictions out there too. So Ronnie and I don't agree on everything. And when it comes to making predictions like this, we both have our completely own independent thoughts and ideas on it. So I want to put out some of my predictions tonight. He wants to put out some of his predictions. And we want to hear your predictions. If you want to be able to say you predicted it, you better get a timestamp on record here, because timestamps do matter. And we've got 3 big important ones that we're going through tonight. One is fundamental truth number 2. I mean, that timestamp's been around since February of 2018. Then we have the timestamps relating to when we acknowledge that the model predicts a 24-hour sun. And then we have the timestamp that relates to when we first started sharing evidence of it. And this all took place before the final false dichotomy even came up. So when it comes to that, because of fundamental truth number 2, I think that the New World Order, because they've worked so hard to connect the Bible to this false model, I think what has to go down is that Jared and Whitsitt acknowledge that they see a 24-hour sun. It's not a hit piece. They get used in all these different videos and stuff because they acknowledge it. They've already said that they're going to acknowledge it if they see it. And then this just becomes the narrative that gets shared throughout the whole world. And I actually do expect this to be major headline news across every single outlet. The CNNs, the Drudge headlines, every single newspaper, every single magazine, every single podcast in the world, I think, is going to acknowledge that this group of flat earthers, supposed ones, got flown to Antarctica and they saw a 24-hour sun, and everybody's going to say, oh, that debunks flat earth. When for the last 8 years, we've been showing everybody how we've debunked it, and we've actually shown which model works and is accurate. So I think that to get this strike against the flat earth and the strike against the Bible at the same time, that these characters just need to acknowledge that flat earth is somehow a fail. They don't understand. And I think that they go off doing tours where they start writing their books and going on the podcasts and telling everybody how they were fooled and taken advantage of by bad government intel and stuff like that, and then also piling heaps of inflammatory stuff against the Bible, saying it was wrong, the Bible's not true anymore. So I think that's the way this thing may unfold, but I know that you've got your own take on it.
Well, my take isn't so far from yours. If you're paying attention to what Jaron has been saying, he's already come out and said that, so he was the one years and years and years ago that supposedly discovered the fact that they were clipping out time in the Antarctic footage where the shadows around poles were jumping. So his narrative is that he lost 10 years of his life, even though we told him 8 years ago that the AE map was wrong. He's lost those years because the government lied to him, right? And he's going to continue to fight against NASA, fight against the government, even more emboldened now. And he's also going to be a staunch ball earth believer, right? Whitsitt too. Now, there's still going to be a large part of the community like Flatzoid and Ironworks and all these other characters who aren't flat earthers. They don't even give a darn what the truth is. They just want to have YouTube channels and they want to have people come and talk with them. That's all they care about. And they also want to be full of lies and deceptions. So there's going to be a group of people that doesn't, no matter what happens, they are going to simply say that we still believe like in the AE map model. The very same way that Jake the asshole supposedly took our debunked it, had somebody from Australia tune into his channel, videotape the sun rising south of east and setting south of west, and then go back and say, but I still believe in the pressurized pizza dome. This is what a large group of the flat earthers are going to do. But I completely agree with you, Jason. I can see the documentary that they're making is going to be done. I don't know if it's going to be Amazon Prime, Netflix, if it's going to be on HBO, it's going to be on just cable TV, if it's going to be on all of them. I think there'll be TV interviews where characters like Jaren and Witsit and Will and McToon and these characters go on different TV shows on all of the major places where they're publicized, and they're going to continue to reaffirm and continue to go at saying that the earth is a sphere, right? That it spins and we move around the sun and we're flying through a galaxy. And they're going to do that because the goal here is to create atheism, right? That's the goal. And it's going to be very interesting to see, because I do believe that there's going to be clouds. It looks almost like this is where we didn't know for sure, right, Jason? We were hoping it would be clear, but it turns out now where we heard from, was it McToon? He was saying they have to fly there and they have to get straight to work. They only need to film the sun between the hours of midnight and 4 in the morning. That's it. If they can film the sun above the horizon between midnight and 4, that 4-hour window, it's over. The AE map is falsified, right? There's 2 poles in our reality. And that doesn't mean that we live on a sphere. It just means that the way that the sky is created, the heavenly celestial bodies, they're created in a circuit around us, each observer. And depending on your latitude is a tilt that you have to the ecliptic in the sky, and then everything travels along that path. The line goes out throughout all of the earth. It's what the Bible says. The sun, the moon and the sun were created after the daylight, right? There's so many things that we're going to get into. But so my prediction is, yes, of course, they're going to see the 24-hour sun. We've already seen it. We've got footage of it. There's multiple channels now. Where's Wally has 14 days of the moon. So moving on to the next topic that's going to be in tonight, we're going to have the Globe Earther cards, the Illuminati cards for everybody, just the main ones so far, the ones taking part in the actual experiment or observation, as the flat earthers want to say. We have that. And we also have the 14-day above the horizon moon, Jason. Why don't you tell everybody about the video that you created and set up before we move on to the next break?
Yeah, so a moon challenge came out from Dufas recently, and I did make a video response to it that is going to be premiering tonight right after we go off the camera. We'll watch that new video, and of course we'll publish it then as a standalone after this. But it's a video response to Dufas's moon challenge, and he's acting like nobody even thought about a 24-hour moon when that's one of the first things that we covered, and it shows how ridiculous their whole narrative is. Yeah. We're going to be showing, he keeps on saying that the flat earth doesn't have a model because it's not true, and you can't model something that's not true, and so he's got this so perfectly inverted. That is exactly true about the heliocentric balls in space model. Like, there is no model of it, and because it's not true, and in fact it's not even rational. Angular resolution limits the ability to even create such a model. So this video, we'll watch it and we'll come back and sort of cover it, and it sort of gets into the rest of the predictions, because this model has to do with the predictions that come from our model, the model that has the luminaries rising from Earth and setting into Earth everywhere except north of 66.5 degrees and south of 66.5 degrees, where then there are times of the year when the luminaries can stay above the horizon. And it's all very interesting. We'll be doing a lot of stellarium tonight.
Do you remember, it was I called into Globebusters when they were going on and on about the 24-hour sun in the Arctic, and we hadn't seen any footage at that point. And I called in and asked everybody, where's your 24-hour up all day moon? I was the first one in the entire game. And again, it doesn't matter who says what just happened. I called in and I wanted to see the proof of the up all day moon. So I think it's great. Full circle, 8-9 years later, here we are. And Jason's about to take it away and show you that evidence of the up 14-day moon.
All right, everybody, check it out. Brand new video dropping now.
For months, when one day something hit me, I couldn't believe it. We all completely forgot about something big. All this focus on the sun and the 24-hour sun and the sun never setting made us completely forget about the moon. Yes, the moon. Ladies and gentlemen, the globe doesn't just have a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. That's right. The globe also has a 24-hour moon. And I've searched YouTube high and low, and I cannot find a single video on YouTube of a 24-hour moon in Antarctica.
Wait just a minute. This has to be the worst research narrative ever pushed by the New World Order ballers in space shills. Fake pastor Will Dufas reads scripts, and the space ballers scriptwriters like McToon fight the fat earth. Red's Rhetoric and Astronomy Live completely botched this script. Not only were we the first so-called flat earthers to cover the so-called final experiment, but we immediately pointed out that not only is there a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, but the moon also stays above the horizon for 14 days at a time.
Not a single one. Isn't this exciting? The fact that I cannot find a single video on YouTube of a 24-hour moon in Antarctica means one of two things. It either means that the globe is a lie and the earth is flat, and because the earth is flat, there is no 24-hour moon, and that's why there's not a single video on YouTube of it.
This is absurd. This up 14-day moon footage was shot by Robert Schwartz. That is the source of almost all of the 24-hour footage of the sun in Antarctica.
Or it just means that no one has videoed a 24-hour moon and put it on YouTube.
It was reposted 5 years ago by Where's Wally, who was a final experiment participant for the Spaceballers. Sorry to ruin your aspirations of being the first to share a 24-hour moon, but that was done a long time ago, and it isn't just 24 hours, it's 14 days. And no, it's not because that is impossible on a plain Earth. You have perfectly inverted the truth, because that only works with the model of Earth we share, and it falsifies the balls in space model.
I am incredibly excited to announce that the final experiment is not only going to attempt to film a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, but I am personally going to attempt to procure a video of a 24-hour moon.
Procure a 24-hour moon video? Procure? Let me procure that video for you. Let's go back to June 21st, the summer solstice, to get that for you. Alright, so let me pull up Telegram here. This is what we're talking about, everybody. This is where the cutting edge of the truth is happening. We had Zworst coming in and saying, sorry if I'm bombing channel, last one. And he had a link to this video, and we're going to watch that. I've been looking forward to being able to play this. It's from Where's Wally 5 years ago. Right, so this was mirrored with permission from this Robert Schwartz. He seems to have all the footage in Antarctica, and Yeah, Zwarsk gave it a heart, and I know why. All right, we're all gonna have to check out this footage. And then the rest of the comments. Obviously, this is a huge AE map model debunk, but we're gonna watch the moon above the horizon for 14 days. At well, it says the South Pole, but it's not all the way there. Come on. You can stop me anytime you want, brother. I want to point out a few things about this. There are a few cuts within this footage, but if you watch the guy's videos, you got to understand that batteries have to be changed and things like that. So every once in a while you'll see a splice on this, but other than that, it's pretty clean. It's really clean. Yeah. It tracks the moon, and as you can see here, the moon is not going above the horizon as we're doing 360s, right?
No.
All right, so 360s are a full day. And what we're actually going to see is the moon go through its phases. So we're going from a full moon, and I'll let you guess what phase we're going to. But notice there's stars up in the sky here. All right, look at the path of the star right here. Look at the path of the moon. Obviously, the wandering stars are just a hair faster than the moon. And we do go into a cloudy section right here. But notice how high the moon is getting. It's up near the top of the picture. The camera hasn't changed its tilt at all. So the moon has gone from being down lower to being, went up towards the top of the screen. Now it's working its way back down again. And where are we at? We're almost at a half moon. Well, this is called 3/4 moon technically, but here we go. Even though it's cloudy and stuff, you can tell that this is all being recorded at a time of the year when the sun's not above the horizon, right? Not at a single point in this footage have we seen the sun whatsoever. But here's the moon, right? The moon went back up a little bit here. And now it's making another path down. See it going through its phase. Now what do we have over here? Look at this orange glow that was creeping up. Sun's not above the horizon, but here we have day glow. So we went through a period where it was just all night. And here we have day glow without a sun above the horizon. And we here have a moon that's going to go down to its final waning crescent. With no sun. With no sun. Alright, so that was a 14-day time period. The sun was above the horizon and never set. How do you explain that on the Freemason New World Order pressurized pizza dome? Why do we need to go to Antarctica when there's just a plethora of proof that the luminaries are rotating above the horizon once you get far enough south, as they do in the north, right? It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty obvious. So let's go ahead and bring up Stellarium. I want to show everybody here.
Yeah, that would be something to witness, to film the daytime new moon. It's incredible. All these things that we're seeing is just fascinating, in my opinion.
Yeah, so if we look at the location window here, you can see that I've dragged us down. This isn't real accurate, but it shows right here 79 degrees, 42 degrees. So this is south of where the Union Glacier camp is. So we're plenty far enough south. Not too far, but we're extra far. And so what we can do here is we can lock on to something. I'm going to lock on to the moon. And you can see that we're looking southeast right now. The moon's in the sky as a little crescent, and the sun's over here. And I want to show everybody the reason why they're going to Antarctica December 14th. And that is because the moon's going to be not above the horizon during that time period.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. So let's take a look at here. What's going on? We're running the hour counter. Originally, it sounded like Dufas and gang would be in Antarctica as early as December 4th. And I pointed out that they might get to see the moon above the horizon on the 4th and 5th. But now that we know that they're not in Antarctica and it's the 12th already, we know that Dufas and gang will not be seeing a 24-hour moon above the horizon unless they stay until December 24th. Here's a screen recording of the moon as seen from Union Glacier in Antarctica beginning November 23rd when the moon started coming above the horizon. You can see it rising higher and higher day by day, and on the 27th it begins staying above the horizon for a full 360 degrees. You can see the sun getting close to the moon, and eventually you have your last waning crescent before the moon is a no moon and it gets passed by the sun. Then once the moon is far enough away from the sun, the new moon crescent is spotted and the moon continues growing to a full moon when it's 180 degrees from the sun in the sky. Unfortunately, the moon will set on December 10th this year in Antarctica, and it will not rise again until December 21st, which just so happens to be the winter solstice. The day the heliocentric balls in space model predicts a 90-degree sunrise and a 270-degree sunset only at the equator. Of course, we know that is not what will happen. The sun will be rising south of east and setting south of west everywhere in the world, unless if you are south of 66.5 degrees south latitude, in which case the sun will stay above the horizon.
This is not going to be easy, but the stakes have been raised. Not only does the globe require a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, but it also requires a 24-hour moon. And just as a 24-hour sun does not work on a flat Earth, neither does a 24-hour moon.
Well, here you go, Will. Stick around and I'll show you the model that predicts this as well. And I will show you why you're not going to be able to film a 24-hour moon while you're there in Antarctica. The model that predicts a 24-hour sun and an up all day, down all day, 14-day moon is a model based on a fixed and stationary plane Earth. And that same model has the sun rising from Earth and setting into Earth between the latitudes of 66.5 degrees north and south latitudes. I have to keep repeating this over and over and over because fake Pastor Will Dufas acts like he is deaf when he hears this. But the ballers in space have no model. No model. They cannot point to a single model that shows the sun moving in the directions it is said to be moving, that shows the Earth and Moon and anything else to scale while everything is in motion. Without everything being to scale, none of the angles or distances could be accurate. Space ballers have no model. Here is the moon through to its next new moon, January 1st, 2025. How is it that this fake pastor millionaire that's supposedly paying for fake flat earth single pole pressurized pizza domers and space ballers to go to Antarctica to see a 24-hour sun and moon did not think to go at a time when the moon is above the horizon?
And so what really happens in Antarctica? Is there a 24-hour sun? We will know within days. Is there a 24-hour moon? Well, stay tuned. If I can obtain a 24-hour video of the moon, I will upload it to our channel, and it will be, to the best of my knowledge, the first video ever of a 24-hour moon put on YouTube.
This might be some of the dumbest shillery from Spaceballers yet. What is next? Will Will say that the lack of a 24-hour moon is proof the Earth is a plane? Who knows? All I know is that fake pastor Will Dufas's big gotcha moment is one of the largest fails in recent spaceball propaganda. How he tops this idiocy will truly have to be remarkable. Come on, how does Will Duffy top that?
Yeah, we're gonna have to see. We'll find out exactly. But
yeah, what's he gonna do? Say that
he's gonna say that he lied and created the hysteria. He knew that Where's Wally, which is a member of his own team, had filmed the moon above the horizon. He just did that lying so that he could get everybody to talk about it to prove that the Earth is a sphere.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even. It was Robert Schwartz, so it was a repost of Robert Schwartz, and he's the guy that had all the 24-hour footage in Antarctica. So how Dufas missed this is beyond me. And
I did an interview with him, and he talked about extensively why did he add where he did the clips that all the flat earthers said that they were that it was fake footage because they seen the same clouds again. Well, the same clouds appeared again because that's where the loop started over again. So it wasn't an infinite loop. And then he also added solar flares or lens flares to the sun, and he put letters behind mountains. Who, like idiots like P Brain with an actual P Brain, they're out there saying that disproves the fact that he filmed it, right? So
yeah, so why
he should have known. He literally did like a huge interview with Schwartz.
Yeah, why he's denying it and just to make himself look bad. It's really sort of strange.
Or he covered it. I can't remember specifically if he did an interview, but he definitely covered Schwartz and the footage and why flat earthers didn't believe it.
Yeah, so the footage is definitely out there. Now he acts like this doesn't work on a flat plane, when that's the only way it works. In fact, this is a huge debunk of heliocentrism. The fact he can maybe handle it being up for 24 hours, but this 14 days straight all of a sudden blows apart his heliocentrism, because like right now in their live streams, they're seeing the moon in Punta Arenas, but the moon is down 24 hours for many days in a row right now. They decided to go at a time when the moon is not going to be up. And so that got put into the video here. This is a screen recording of stellarium, but we can actually use stellarium, and I think you all might find this interesting. But I think it'd be sort of a little bit fun to go here through this guy that just came across recently, that he put out his prediction video, and we'll go to that. But this guy sort of cracked me up, and I sort of want to cover this first, because I mean, tonight's all about the predictions, and this Tommy Grunwald put out my predictions for the final experiment, and he did it for the pressurized pizza dome and for the ball. So he has the only the only submission for a model for how this is going to look on a ball. Let's go ahead and check this out here.
The final experiment is on, and the people are in Punta Arenas, ready to go down to Antarctica, about a day away from now or something. So here are my predictions for the
There we go.
not sunrise and not sunset in Antarctica. First of all, let's take the flat Earth here. And as far as I can figure out on the flat Earth, on the FE map, the Union Glacier is
FE?
somewhere around here. I just
Fake flat Earth, he means. Fake.
I meant AE,
about
but
where it is in relation to that peninsula, or what do you call it?
Yeah, that's good enough.
So, standing on Union Glacier,
close, right?
it should be something like this. You see, the sun is pretty small due north there at
Yeah, other side.
and midday it will be up here, and then go
See, everybody, this is what a 2-scaled model of the Freemason New World Order pressurized pizza dome looks like. And it's still not even to scale. You wouldn't be able,
But it's closer.
yeah, you wouldn't be able to see the sun if it was to scale like that.
going. Now, I never do this the correct way. If it goes that way or this way. Arrest me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that counts on this point. Anywho, the sun will be smaller, of course, during the night, and it's really not that much difference between midday and midnight. Of course it is, but watching from here. So the lowest angle will be midnight over here. That will be at, oh, come on, about 9 degrees over the horizon.
See, fake flat earthers, this is an actual model with actual predictions for what would be taking place at the final experiment. This is a real model.
And when it should be furthest from them, it will be, for them it will be east, right? Yeah. 20.7 degrees, and in that case west 20.1 degrees, and midday it will be at 38.6 degrees. That's the elevation, and if I'll move this one over here,
I mean, it's totally wrong. Everything about this is wrong. The sun actually has to circle behind them.
Right.
I don't know what he's modeled here.
Furthest-
He modeled the northern path.
No, he's
Summertime.
modeled the Freemason New World Order pressurized pizza dome the way it would be. Like,
furthest
That's not the path of the
on
sun
that
right
point
now,
will be the same.
Jason.
well, he's putting the sun over the Tropic of Capricorn, and he put it 3,000 miles high. And so this is plotting all the angles throughout the day on the Freemason New World Order pressurized pizza dome.
With 1.5. So everything here will happen inside 83.1 degrees. It's just from this point to that point. That's all. That's all it's going to be.
See, that's already been falsified in Punta Arenas. Watch
Move
this.
it to Punta Arenas. See, everything is following. And even from there, everything should be northwise.
This is the whole thing that we've been going against those guys all the time. The sun would always be, if you were south of the tropic here, this is what it would be looking like to you as it was coming towards you, as it was going away from you. And this actually gives all the elevation angles.
Not even in south. And I watched MC Toon's latest video just a few minutes ago, where he was standing in Punta Arenas and saw the sun go that way.
That's what they're saying.
He pointed on the beach. You see that, right? Yeah. So
Jaron Whitsitt,
if the sun is rising and setting here, and he is watching this
like Looney Tune.
down there, that's not right.
Not right.
Now for the globe model,
Oh, yes.
I have to admit that's a little bit harder because I don't use Stellarium or any other of those programs.
He doesn't use Stellarium or any of those other programs. We're going to be using Stellarium.
And let's see. So, wrong one. There. All I did was just making a visual for what I think it will be.
So he flattened a circle of sight on a sphere.
Got a flat
Right.
spot.
And I couldn't find on timeanddate.com the sunrise and sunset.
What?
On timeanddate.com, he couldn't find the sunrise and sunset. That right there is just insanity. That's
So I don't have the precise angles here because
so he doesn't have the precise angles
Oh.
because he couldn't find the angles. Listen to how he came up with this model.
again I don't use Stellarium. And there was nothing, yeah, that's not how I do my models anyway.
Oh.
He doesn't do it that way.
So my guess just
My guess just
will be down at the horizon sometime,
down at the horizon,
and it will be a further bit up in the sky sometime.
further bit up.
The exact angles, I'm sorry,
He doesn't know.
because the flat Earth model is a whole lot easier to do. Believe me, the globe is complicated,
We believe that.
but it works
Yeah.
every time.
No.
So this is my prediction for the globe Earth. I
Oh.
just have the globe here and tilted it by 23.4 degrees.
Tilted
I
it.
had to raise the sun up there. I know it
I had to raise the sun up there. So here's the path of the sun in the heliocentric model. Listen, he says,
not
The
right.
pa- the
because
sun-
is circling around.
he says, I know that's not right.
Around the top of the earth like that, huh?
The sun up there. I know it's not right. It is circling around the Tropic of Capricorn.
He knows it's circling around the Tropic of Capricorn, but he had to put it up here.
Oh.
Listen.
But I can't make this to scale in SketchUp. It just doesn't work that way.
Of course it doesn't work that way. It's impossible. You can't make it to scale.
Can't model it because it doesn't exist.
Not only does it not exist, but the distances set are beyond angular resolution.
Yeah, you can't.
It's impossible. So you can't do it to scale. So he just said it goes down near the horizon here, and it goes up over here, and I couldn't put it over the Tropic of Capricorn, so he just put it up here.
And he couldn't get the actual rise and set angles correctly because it's impossible, right? You can't model it. It's not reality. You actually have to use the Flat Earth Andrew Marsh program to have it to 100th of a degree per second.
So this happens to be the only heliocentric prediction to come in. I didn't think there was going to be any, but this just came in 12 hours ago.
He tried.
Got it in right at the wire. So there you go, Glovers. You got Tommy Gronwald saving you guys with his 3D model.
I mean, he
Show.
tried, but he
But there's no
failed.
angles. He knows it's not right.
The sun isn't around the Tropic of Capricorn. He had to raise it up. The sun is actually super local. It's the sun he has moving, not the earth. Everything about this is absolutely jackassery. It's hilarious. I mean, thank you. And the reason he couldn't use Stellarium and he couldn't use the other models is because they all work off of a flat stationary plane that you can't then invert and twist and flip and try to put on a globe. That's what we've been saying for years.
So here we are in Stellarium at 79 degrees south and 81, I think it's like 82 degrees west. We're very, very close to Union Glacier Camp. we'd be happy to be more exact if somebody needs it to be, but I think this will serve the purpose. So the moon is up here on the 8th down here. So let's see what's happening here. I'm going to back this out just a little bit so you can get a little bit more perspective. And let's watch this spin around here. So it goes down on the 9th. Oh. We're looking due south, and we're looking east, and there it comes back up in the east on the 9th. Watch it go back down in the west. And we just get a peek of it, super little peek on the 10th. And then once it's down here, that's it. Now we can start scrolling our hours a little bit faster. And you're going to see that there is no moon at Union Glacier this whole time that they're going to be there. They timed this out so that they would absolutely miss the moon, which is so super sad. But eventually it will come back up. Watch this bobble back and forth. And now it's coming back above the horizon on the 21st. And then it'll be at the 24th here that it'll actually stay above the horizon all the way around again. So it's 14 days up and 14 days down. Now we're watching this red line here wobble around. You might be asking yourself, what is that red wobbly line? And I want to point out here that what we see is half of the ecliptic. We've got Virgo, we've got Libra, we got Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricornus, and who's the water bearer? Forget that last one. The water bearer. You know who the water bearer is.
Water bear. Aquarius?
Aquarius. There you go.
I was going to say Michael or whatever. Yeah, I was shy. But
so this is half the ecliptic, but we're not all the way down at 90 degrees south. So let's go to our south pole here.
So what Jason's showing is basically in the Bible that David wrote about the line that goes out throughout the whole entire earth. All right, and that's the line. And then that's the actual track that the sun runs its circuit on. And nothing is hid from the light thereof, and it travels in the summertime all the way to the north, and then in the wintertime for the north all the way to the south, as it is here. So that the light thereof touches everything as far as there is north, as there is south, and as far as there is east, as there is west.
So we are going to lock onto our sun here. And we're at 12:12, so that just passed. I want to show everybody, now we're standing at celestial South Pole. And what that means is if I turn this...
The Sigma Octans region is 90 degrees above head, zenith.
Sigma Octans is 90 degrees above head. So there is a south celestial pole that has a geographical place directly below it, where when you look straight up, this is 90 degrees up. So Earth has two poles. One is a celestial one, the other one's a magnetic one, right?
Well, yeah. Well, there's the earthly pole and the heavenly pole. They align. The equator and the ecliptic line also match relatively close. But what you'll notice here is in the southern part. So on the rectangle flat Earth model that we show, or we like to use also an onion as a way to depict the coordinate system, you have southern celestial constellations here. You see Corona Australis. There's the Southern Crux, which is a cross, and Centaurus. You can see these constellations once you move beyond the equator. Now, that doesn't mean you're going under a sphere, because in our reality, everything is a level plane and everything in the sky is above you. It just happens that the sky and the luminaries wrap around us, as the Earth is the flat fixed plane that cuts the distance, that cuts it in half, right? The yin-yang symbol actually symbolizes the sky rising from below Earth around us and then setting back into Earth, and it has the day and night. So the yin yang was what was created before the sun and moon. The day and the night is the yin yang symbol. So then when you go to the north, you end up getting, you'll get the Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, you'll get the Big Dipper, there's a bunch of other constellations. There's a snake. You get a bunch of other things that you only see in the northern skies, right? And this is what the AE map and model has been denying for the last 8 years. They didn't believe any of these constellations exist. And then they would say, oh, well, they're just reflections of the northern constellations. Well, last time I checked, there's no cross, right, in the north. And they also say, because if you look up again, Jason, in the Sigma Octans region, there's no pole star, right? It's just dark there. Where in the north we have Polaris, which, again, biblically speaking, the north is a special place. The throne of Yahweh is in the north, and the congregation are to the sides. But the south is also very special because it's spoken of Christ's return comes from the south. And what we have is a lot of characters who... So it's great that they're going down there to film the 24-hour sun, right, Jay? Like, we want the evidence. We want the documentation, even though we have it. If you search total solar eclipse, Union Glacier Station 2000 and was it 21? And it was on December 4th. You'll get 360, multiple cameras. You'll get like 5 videos of different people who documented the sun above the horizon for the 24 hours. But what we'd also like to get is a star trail from the winter months. So from June, because I think it's probably stunning to see what the stars look like. I would love to see it, Jason, in the wintertime, but I know it gets like Jaron and Whitsett are going to freeze their ass off. It's going to be cold, but in the summer, so in June down here, what is it? Is it get like minus 100?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the
like
temperatures.
Super cold, right? I know it's definitely below minus 20.
So I just want to point out here we are at the celestial South Pole. We're standing here, we're just turning around in a 360-degree circle. Every which direction is north from this location. Here we are at December 25th, and when we're looking at the sun here, we have the moon that's coming into the picture. And so we're just sitting here turning around, and we see the moon is staying above the horizon 24 hours a day. The sun is staying above. Now they're getting closer and closer together. You see the moon. As it gets closer to the sun, once it gets into that sun glow there, it goes into its phase where it's a waning crescent and a no moon.
I like to call it the last moon as opposed to the new moon.
Yeah, and then once it gets out, it's fallen far enough behind, and it gets out of that day glow, then all of a sudden you're going to have the new moon crescent, and this is all taking place while it's doing 24-hour circles above your head. All right, so
everybody else on the northern parts of the map.
Yeah, so we'll go check this out in the north now, and hopefully I want everybody to pay attention that this whole time that we've been spending here, there's been absolutely zero parallax. This is spinning around perfectly all the time, never changing. And now let's go to the north. We'll go up to our North Pole.
Generally on the maps, you'll see NCP, North Celestial Pole, and SCP with the South Celestial Pole. And that's not an antipodal spot on the ends of two spheres. It's an actual flat Earth, and then you have a celestial sphere. The heavens are built like that. They're built like a celestial sphere, as well as the sun and the moon and the shape of them. And the Earth is built like a flat plane. The two join together. That's how the creation works. I know we've just been psyoped to believe that everything is spheres, but it's not. And Enoch was actually the first one that differentiated between the two. He said that the heavenly luminaries were built like the heavens, and the Earth was built like the Earth.
So here we are in the north, and now all of a sudden, what do we have happening? The moon is coming up above the horizon in the north when it was going down below the horizon at the South Pole, and we see it going through the other half of the ecliptic. Here's Pisces, here's Aries, here's Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and part of Virgo. right? So this whole time the moon is up for 14 days in the north. And then if we go
There's
to
no
this
footage of. Zero footage. Zero. This is what I asked Globebusters for. Where's your up all day moon footage? Right? Because we hadn't seen any above the horizon sun footage anywhere ever. For it's only been in the last 7-8 months that we've seen any. If someone could put in the chat or in the comment section below a link to 24-hour above the horizon northern moon, or even a time lapse of the sun in the north that's at 24 hours, please, I would love to see it. There isn't any.
Yeah, we switched to the south, and here it is going through the other half of the constellations of the ecliptic that are in the south. And then we'll watch it come down over here when it's setting, and we'll go back to the north.
And then there's still a few more things that you have to share before we move on, right?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to...
Yeah, I just started the presentation. And what do we got here? Oh, there's the moon coming up. It's going to be up all these days with no sun here. So it's wobbling right here because I couldn't get all the way to a true 90. That's what's creating the wobble. But that's how it looks in Stellarium, everybody. Sky just rotating around half a circle up in the north. See that the ecliptic tilt is because you have half the ecliptic in the north and you have the other half of the ecliptic in the south. That's another heliocentric debunk right there. Yeah, sort of going on with what we were covering before. Will just put this out, and he was talking about the drama of the moon. This full first half of this video was Glober's not understanding that just having a 24-hour moon debunks flat Earth, in his opinion. No, we're the only ones that can explain it well. But then he goes on with the drama.
24-hour sun is difficult enough. If you throw on top of that a 24-hour moon, I do not see how that is possible on a flat Earth any way whatsoever. If you disagree, just let me know how a 24-hour moon would be possible on a flat Earth. Pretty simple. Okay, had a rough day today. So definitely had a rough day today. Probably more rough for me than anybody else, but just a little moment of transparency here. We had an issue today. We had an orientation at ALE's office here in Punta Arenas, and it was awesome. The orientation was great. They prepped us. We watched videos. They talked about how everything's going to go down over the next couple of days because the process of flying to Antarctica
it means it's not going to go
like down. A routine plane where you leave your house a couple hours before your
Sure
flight.
it is.
The process starts a day in advance. So tomorrow we'll begin our process for our flight with our luggage, getting everything ready to go. And so anyway, orientation was great. After the orientation, that's when things went south. It's discouraging for me. I'm very tired, as you guys can imagine. I have been working on this for over a year. And now that we're here at the very end, we're talking, I can see the finish line. I didn't really see this coming.
If anybody's seen the thumbnail tonight, there's only one horse up at the finish line. The other two have nosedived because they don't have models.
But many of you probably already know what I'm about to say, and that's fine. I'm not as intimately involved with these circles. I'm just not. I came in here with a goal and a purpose and a mission, and I try to be a finisher, and so that's what I'm going to do. But I'm just not that intimately involved. And so the reality is there's a bit of a bigger beef between Austin and Jaron and MC Toon than I was aware of. And that came to light after the orientation, and I'm glad it did. Don't get me wrong. This was definitely a down point, a negative for the trip and for TFE as a whole. But I'm really glad that it was aired out and brought to the surface so that we could talk about it. And we had a very long, heated discussion about it. And the reality is I'm glad this happened prior to us going to Antarctica. And I think it's going to help things moving forward. But there's, fears based on past actions, and everyone's just looking out for themselves, which is fine. That's what we need to do and what we should do. And so there were some agreements made, which I think are very beneficial. So, for example, Austin and Jaron were concerned that MC Toon was going to film them without their permission and try to humiliate them. Now, again, we can't ever know someone's motives. I don't know MC Toon's motives. I also don't know the future, but that's their concern. And that's their concern based on things that have happened and transpired in the past. And so right there and then I, asked MC Toon, I said, hey, can you respect their request and not film them unless you have their permission first? And he said yes, and they seemed happy with that. But then as the conversation progressed, they were worried that he would, put things on his channel or, get permission from them to film them and then put that on his channel in a way that they wouldn't like. And so I asked him for another favor just to kind of help us all come together as a team here. And I just said, hey, can you, before you put anything on your channel afterward, can you run it by them first? And he said yes. And so everything really kind of, calmed down after that, which was great. I do feel like that was something that needed to happen. When these things are pent up inside, it just makes interactions and this whole, trip have this underlying thing that just makes it awkward for everyone. And so now it's out, it's out in the air, it's out in the open. They had an opportunity to discuss it, and commitments were made, which I think are not too big of an ask. And so I'm very happy now. And so we're actually going to go all have a team dinner right now, which I'm looking forward to. Mark Herman just got here finally. He's been a world traveler, got here from London, and so he's going to be joining us as well, which is super exciting. And yeah, tomorrow is kind of the countdown where we're really going to start to pack everything up, get our luggage to ALE, start to get paperwork, and start to charge all of our devices to make sure we all have full batteries before we depart on Saturday on that flight. So anyway, I just wanted to be real with everybody, be real with everybody, and just kind of give everyone an update as to what is
the
drama
is ridiculous.
Because I'm sure you're all very.
So Witsit's all crying that supposedly McToon hurt him, scarred him, and that if he doesn't address it, he continues to give McToon power. And they've been working together for years. So if you're not following along on the other side of the screen, the COINTEL agents, they only work with their own groups. They only have their controlled opposition, and then they have their teammates. So it's going to be great when the documentary comes out, right? If they were in there filming it all, you're going to see McToon taking the high road. You're going to see Jaron and Witsit crying. Now, Jason, explain to me how they're all wearing body cams, supposedly. Jaron's selling his footage. He was selling it. You can buy I'm going to be wearing camera the whole time, right? How are they okay to be in a documentary, but then McToon's not allowed to walk around with his camera going?
It's ridiculous. The whole thing is a fake fight, in my opinion. It's like WWE when these guys go sit down and have dinner together, and then when the cameras are on, they're going to be, howling at each other. You're going to make a hit piece about me and blah, 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 blah.
Look, we already know. We've already shown them that the solar eclipse took place, and it was filmed from multiple angles, multiple cameras, 360, P1000s, solar filters. They filmed it all. The sun never set. It's already done. And this is all just an argument in futility where all they're doing is they're trying to shame those who still believe in the pressurized pizza dome, and they're going to use it to debunk the Bible.
So it's interesting.
What's going to happen, Jason? How are they going to be in a hit piece? They're going to see the sun above in the sky, and then McToon's going to come over and say, Jaron, say your line, just like Red's rhetoric. The very first thing we heard was Red's rhetoric. Yeah, he told Will, I will pay whatever it needs to be. He was saying, I need to have Jaron. He was saying, I want Jaron to be the one who goes down there and says, how interesting. Right? And that's what we're going to have.
Absolutely. So while this is all taking place, this is his big final false dichotomy. We're so in his head. I had responded to all 4 challenges that he had made in our last hangout, and so I gave him a link to it, and I gave him the timestamps, and he responded. just started watching. What future prediction will not come true? So, I mean, that's the very first thing that I have in here. The first challenge was for a flat earther to come up with one fail prediction from the globe model, and gave him the timestamp for it.
That's probably one of those like automated responses that you just hit send on. He didn't even probably read it.
Then I said, that is the first thing we cover with the timestamps again. The globe prediction is that the sun would rise 90 degrees east and set 270 degrees west, only at the equator and only on the solstices. And he says, that's not a globe prediction because, well, that's what their model shows. When you make a model and you look at the model and you see, oh, okay, the sun would be rising 90 degrees east on the equinox because you're looking at the model. That's how predictions are made. So not only is he responding in emails, but also he came along and put a comment in on this last podcast we did, how Team Yahushai knew what Will Duffy would do before he did it. And so in this, he got so exposed for that whole radio show thing where he denied it. And so he had to come in and say, you guys don't get views because you don't understand basic English, right? That's our problem. Present tense. I don't produce any shows. Study the present tense. And so these responses are actually all hidden. If you come along and you try to see these comments, they're not going to show up unless go to sort by newest first, and they might actually show up for you. And then you'll see my response, you'll see Ronnie's response, and you'll also see the response from Ronick. You'll see the response from Jay Skills, and you'll see the response from Josh Hughes. So at first, we could not get any of these comments to be published. YouTube was hiding them. And so we put it out to the community in Telegram and asked for people's help to respond to Will. And we did actually get some help. And so we did break through the wall, and there are some responses to this. This is his battle to disprove Earth is a plane, and he's trying to falsify the Bible at the same time, everybody. If you haven't heard it, that is what he is up to.
I just want to touch on my comment before you leave.
Yeah.
I just want to paraphrase it just so everybody understands exactly what Will Duffy does. So I guess he walked into a trap here, right? He walked into a trap. So in the podcast, what we did was we exposed that Jason interviewed him, and Jason asked him a series of questions. And he's using words like present tense, right? And he's trying to play word games. It's the same thing that happened to me when I was over on Fladzoids today. These characters, they only want yes or no answers. And if they say that I try to describe things more, that's not biblical. It absolutely is biblical to define and give descriptive understandings. Okay, we've been so far ahead of him for years. First off, in his comment there that he appeals to popularity. We've been banned, blocked, and censored and put into a sandbox. I lost my YouTube channel. It was called the Limitless channel. And before that, Event Skeptic. I had it since 2014. Right, I had almost 7,000 subscribers, and I had almost 1 million views. Okay, and I had like 400 or 500 videos. Jason has a video documenting a lot of it. So what Will ended up doing here, so Will continues to state that if you scroll up a little bit, please, in his comment, he went down.
Oh.
In his comment, he says, you guys don't get views, blah, 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 because he said he didn't lie. Because I said he was a liar. He said he didn't produce any shows. So he was trying to state because he said that he didn't produce any shows at the moment, present, right? He's not excluding in the falsifying, or he's not excluding the past. But if you scroll down, so what's even worse here is that what Will does is even worse than a simple lie. It's because what he's doing is lying by omission. So he has information, he has knowledge, he has truth. And what he does is he'll deceptively answer in a way using present and past tenses so that he can lie by omission, right? And he does this because he gains and he benefits from hiding things from people. That's his entire motive. And if you study him and you study his entire agenda, what he's done since day one, where hid his identity. He lied about being accredited as he never got any biblical teaching. He didn't have every single thing that he's done has been a lying by omission, including the entire script, the narrative, everything about the final experiment, which is an observation of the sun's path, which we've been saying happens for years. Everything about it is just lying by omission. And the sad thing is that he's not funding it. I wouldn't be surprised if he has something very disgusting. He's very blackmailed, and I don't have proof. This is a speculation. I don't believe he's paying for any of this. I think the people that are creating the documentary are paying. I think ALE is chipping in so that they can get publicity for their tourism. I think Will is just a figurehead, a puppet who's reading a script, and he's doing a terrible job at it. He actually argued that he could falsify the Bible.
Yeah,
That's all I wanted to say, Jason. It's just that if you pay attention, he states that he is a liar by omission.
Yeah, we've got this clip right here I want to play.
I'll just say this one more time quickly. Flat Earth doesn't have a model because you can't model something that doesn't exist.
Like the guy that tried to model the Bible, the ball.
Yeah, that's what this guy right here was saying. Can't do it, right? Because
play it
because it's not real. It's
by 23.4 degrees. I had to raise the sun up there. I know it's not right. It's circling around the Tropic of Capricorn, but I can't make this to scale in SketchUp. It just doesn't work that way.
you can't do it in any program.
Possible, everybody. Not Wolfie, not McToon or MC Toon, not any of these characters. Slice Bar Kane, not Red's retarded. None of them have been able to make an accurate working model with rise and set angles. The Andrew Marsh spherical globular program doesn't even work.
Yeah, one more time.
And it's not there to prove anything other than globers who have issues with their belief system in the globe.
I'll just say this one more time quickly. Flat Earth doesn't have a model because you can't model something that doesn't exist.
You are.
We're the only ones that have the model. And then, let's see here. I think it's around here.
And then a peace icon.
Okay.
If that helps. I don't know. We're doing what we can, Phoenix Rising. Thanks for your support. JSS Tiger says, Flatzoid, you said no evidence for gravity.
I thought it was maybe it's here.
Also a first super chat, so thank you. Lots of new interest in the discussions happening on Modern Day Debate. I don't know if you guys heard earlier, we're actually having another debate tonight. And then
Might have just missed
going
it.
to be on with Stuart and Clip Neckley. Some fire under your ears for that
It was
one.
a
Do you
super
think
chat.
about the hit song
Yeah.
Rainbow and then a piece.
This gravity causes gravity at the end.
I'm going to take a guess that it's because he is in his summer because
Well, I'm not finding the timestamp right here. I thought it was.
Reel this one in, man. I'm doing what I can. I don't know.
watch for you to show these edits because there's only one. I've contacted both individuals that are
Answer questions because you know that you will be wrong. It was right after I'd said, week 8 tonight.
Well before this, I
and then
think.
Alex Connor's
Trying to-
going to be
Did you not
on
find it?
with,
Didn't you play it already?
Stuart and Clip.
Yeah, I did in the other podcast. I was just hoping to replay it again.
We'll quickly do the transcript and Command F and pull up the. You can clearly hear him say that. So the question came from a young god. How do they say it? Young god earther?
Young God Creationist.
Young god creationist. If you search that, and he used Will's name in a question in an acronym, and then he asked him, "Do you believe the Bible can be falsified?" So if you search the word falsified, it's going to come right up. It's good to document it again because that is the exact thing that we've been talking about since 2018, that they created the fake flat earth model so that they could falsify the Bible.
Here it is.
Next super chat. Young God Creationist says, question theoretical, the Bible would be false too? What is QTWD? What's that stand for? Hold on. I'm not up
Oh,
on my lingo.
question for me.
Question for. See, he
Oh,
knew.
sorry. That's
Will
okay.
Duffy.
Yeah. All right. Question for Will Duffy. All right. Theoretically, the Bible could be falsified too. Hey, it's their first super chat. Thanks so much.
I think yes. I think the Bible could be falsified. How? I'm not sure at the moment, but
Wow,
I think
pause it?
absolutely it could.
So, with that statement, if you search the term falsify, debunked. Will Duffy, a supposed pastor, is saying that he believes that the Bible could be falsified. He doesn't know how. He's, again, lying. He is literally the man trying to do that. Right now, maybe they continue to state that they believe in the Old Testament creator and they go to the Talmud or the Torah and he's like a goyim, or maybe he's a Jew. I don't know what he is or claims to be. I don't know even if these people who say they are who they are. But he is clearly trying to state that the Bible can be debunked. And I will debate him or any of his young God create. What is, when you hear the word young God creationist?
It's you create God yourself, right?
He has no beginning. He has no end. He's not young, right? I don't understand any of it, and you could clearly tell that it was one of his team members. They do this over on McToon's channel where they write like disgusting things, and they'll write it in different words so that when you read it, it has the sound of the disgusting statement and the different words and letters. It's just, these people are such children, and it's gross. And the fact that a pastor out here saying, yeah, of course you know what? The word from the Bible and from all of the extra canonical, every single Holy Spirit inspired word will stand beyond the fire of everything in this realm being burned 10 miles down, 10 miles up. Those words will still stand true. Not me, not Will, not Jason, not any other man's word will outlast the word of those scriptures. And you know, if Will doesn't repent of this, if he doesn't change his ways, he is in a lot of trouble going against the Holy Spirit. I mean, you can't pick a more crazy fight.
And you got shills like Flatzoid coming along, trying to call the Freemason New World Order pressurized pizza dome that's being debunked in Antarctica right now, biblical Earth.
Yeah, you should have heard him today. No, this is what these shills do. They deny the AE map. They said, no, we don't believe in that map. But then you ask them, so what about the ice ring and the dome and the pole, the one pole in the center? Oh, yeah, that's the Bible Earth. And you tell them that is being falsified right now. It actually was falsified 8 years ago when Jason and I and other channels too started modeling, but it was mostly me and you, right? Modeling the sunrise sets that were below the equator, that were rising from the south and setting to the south, circling off the AE map, going the wrong way, right? The creator doesn't need an ice ring to hold the waters in. It's a water realm. It's a borderless, boundaried reality, right? And, you know, it's crazy that we're at this stage, Jason. It really is.
Yeah, so I don't know. We've got plenty more to get through. So let's maybe wrap up this coverage tonight. We'll take a song break, and when we come back, what are we in for, Ronnie?
So we'll start with the Bible Earth Illuminati card and the characters involved with the final dichotomy.
All right, we'll see you back for that, y'all.
Hello, no one is available to take your call.
We're back.
And that was a great brand new heavier tune, right? I like that. That was a brand new song from a brand new band. They're called Ivory Days, and that was No Service, because, Will, after you're done breathing, you're going to have no more service. Let's get into this, okay, everybody? Here we go. We're revealing the Illuminati card Ballers in Space. So here's their balls spinning in space with other balls spinning around other balls. It says here, Ballers in Space believe they live in an ever-expanding infinite universe that was created from a creatorless Big Bang that flung matter outwards. Due to the mass of matter, everything in the universe turned into spinning balls that spin around smaller balls, all the way down to invisible atoms that are 99.99% empty space.
Spinning space balls.
Here is the Spaceballs team. If you're a glurfer or a heliosexualist, or however you want to call these guys, they're into balls, okay? Let's start off with none other than Will Duffy, the creator or the agent LARPing as the millionaire who's funding the supposed trip. Here's Will's card. He's got 10.7 thousand subscribers. He amassed quite a few pretty quick. But you're going to see as we go on further into this, we'll continue to show the rest of the ballers in space. They've got a lot of subscribers. So he's got over 500,000 views. That's pretty good. It took me, 4 years with my channel to get that. He's got 101 videos. He date created, so look at this, December 29th, 2023.
That's the youngest of them all, right?
Young card earther here. Only 10 months and 15 days old from the making of this card. He's not YouTube verified, and sadly, he fails all of the truths. He fails every single one of the fundamental truths in the description box.
And he's a so-called pastor.
He fails every one, and some of them are biblical, right? So it states here, Will Duffy is a fake pastor and a former radio show producer for his hero, Bob Enyart. He was a millionaire at age 33 and is being sued, though, for financial crimes. His claims to fame as being the agent behind, quote, the final experiment, which is actually a false dichotomy designed to discredit Earth as a fixed and stationary plane in an attempt to falsify the Bible. Will teaches that lying can be justified and that God might not do what he said. And he believes in dinosaurs. Jeez. Can it get any crazier than this card?
Yeah, these are similar to the Illuminati playing cards. Everybody's getting a playing card that's involved in the final experiment, and we are going to be tracking everybody's positions. So our predictions are one thing, but their actual choices as they decide to go, oh, he's going ball, he's going this. Every single one of these characters are going to be tracked.
Mm-hmm. And you can see so everything, lying by omission we could have put in here, lying by deceit, inverting the truth. Look, he's got Antarctica, and then he has the AE Antarctica around the outside. And when we get to my next clip after the song break, after this section, we're going to show you how even someone like Flatzoid, who is the controlled opposition gatekeeper, set up to work with Will, who was in the earlier clips in a supposed fake debate against him, will state that the false dichotomy is flat versus globe, when you can clearly see here that it's Antarctica AE map versus globe. But we'll continue on here. Who Will is pro. Professor Dave explains, who almost has as many views as SpaceX.
Wow.
When we get to his card, not this week, next week, you guys are going to be shocked. Obviously, Craig Fight the Fat Earth. We've got Dave McKeegan, who's down there, headed to Antarctica with them. We're going to get to his card soon. We got Cyman Dan, who's, again, 250 million views. Okay. And that's less than Professor Dave, too. But then we've got Jaronism. Will is he called Jaron a hero.
Multiple times.
He
came to his defense.
Yep. Also a hero, right? Will loves Jaron. Jaron's his hero. Critical Think. another character who's there, who is representing the Down Under crew from Australia. Sure that he's doing the role for his buddy here, Wolfie6020, who wouldn't participate, right? I don't know if he's got stage fright or if he just doesn't want to show his face on the mainstream. He hides his name. He used to be a Jehovah's Witness and actually tried to plead with Jason in a very awkward, deceptive way in the beginning. We got Where's Wally, who actually had the footage of the 14-day moon, who, is a participant, was one of the named Globe Earth channels. Creaky, who is really gross. Wait till you see the tattoos and earlobe stretching stuff that this guy has.
He's the epitome. He's the epitome of heliocentrism.
Yeah, this is why you want the balls and spinning space type guy. You can see what he thinks. Greg Locke, Will went to the debate, and I'm sure Will's handlers had a lot to play in that debate when Greg Locke said, "Yeah, they'll let us go, Dean. Let's go." And then, obviously Dean denied it, again, shaming the truth of the Bible. And Dean was also working to have the Bible falsified with the Final Experiment and Greg Locke. Then we've got Mark Herman, who is the producer, who was on Jaren's stream tonight. He made his first appearance. He's outwardly Ashkenazi proud. We've got Lisbeth Acosta, who is down there as one of the participants, who supposedly was the flat earther who had to prove that she was a flat earther to win the trip. And she's never done anything in the flat earth community, ever. Never. She's on an app that was created where people just leave voice messages for each other. And she's a part of what's called the Flat Earth Gang. They have never done anything in flat earth ever, but she won the golden ticket. I guess the producer, Mark Herman, of the documentary liked her. Or him, for that matter. I don't know what this character is. Then we've got Danny Faulkner, who is a Bible pusher as well, who was in many fights. He's also, I believe, a pastor, and it was Nathan Roberts went back and forth. Nathan Roberts gang stalked Danny Faulkner, if you don't remember, Jason.
Not clearly, no.
Yeah, it was quite the situation they had going on. And then Danny Faulkner had that crazy guy make all the videos against Nathan Roberts, and that guy's gone too, that was doing it. So then we got Steve Flatter Than Flat. He was the last interview that Will did. This guy was an absolute clown. He came out and said, "Hey, all of you flat earthers saying that there's clouds behind the sun," he said, "you got to stop that. You're making us look bad." He went on to call Antarctica God's shelf. Right?
I remember that, yeah.
Apparently, Will's going to be doing a live stream with this guy on his channel, right? Steve. But the funny thing was, Will said, look in the description box we wanted to subscribe so that we can be a part of that. There's no links, and there was no mention of his website. So if anybody knows Steve Flatter Than Flat, who is not a flat earther, none of the people that Will had interviewed on his channel were ever flat earthers. They were all gatekeepers set up to LARP as flat earthers. And then Red's Rhetoric is the last member on Will's page here. Those are all his pros, and it could have been more. And there's only one team. There's only one character that actually Will got triggered, and he was very rude and ignorant to you, Jason. And it was Team Yahushua. This is the only character, the only team, the only group in the entire realm, flat, globe, concave, all of us. He only went against us.
Well, we were the only ones that went against him, so what else is he going to do, right?
Well, and we were the only ones with a viable third model that actually is repeatable and observable and testable with all the predictions that he asked for. Unlike his own model, you can't even model a 90 million mile away sun. It's impossible because it doesn't exist. Let's keep going here. I know we got to get through a song and a little bit more content. Maybe I'll skip some tabs, but moving on to the next, we got MC Tune. Now, it should say Conspiracy Tune Live or MC Tune Live's channel. So he's got two channels. Okay. The one that I took the screenshot from was the one that Will shared on his page, on the Final Experiment page. And lo and behold, this channel here was actually given to Michael, who MC Tune is. It wasn't even his channel. It was another globe earther who quit, right, and gave him the channel. And so He has another channel, and I put those stats below here. 22,000 subscribers, very similar to this one. Oh, actually, no, this one has 78, but most of those were from another flat earther who quit, right? And gave him the ball earther gave him this channel, McToon, because nobody likes this guy. So he's only got 6 million views on this one, right? Nowhere near what this channel had. This channel that he took over 2 years ago had more views than he like tripled. So he only had 734 videos on this. So this channel was much older though. October 11th, 2011. So it's 12 years, 2 months and 18 days old. He's not verified, and of course he fails all 10. So here we got MC Toon showed up to debunk the AE map in October of 2018 in the peak of YouTube's censorship rollout. MC Toon is a bold-faced liar that has never actually even challenged his bias that Earth is a globe. MC Toon spends the majority of his videos covering Witsit. MC Toon was brought to Will Duffy's church to start a nationwide tour centered on sermon that Earth is a ball in outer space. MC Toon is now filming in Antarctica with the final experiment. So there's a lot to unpack here. We're not going to get too deep on it, but it was a debate between effed up world, Joe Hill first. Will Duffy flew Joe Hill down to debate MC Toon in a flat versus globe debate. And again, the setup against the ice wall, pressurized pizza dome, AE map model is all that this other side will debate. They've created the straw man, and they did it 8 years ago, back in like just around 2018, 2017. All they would debate was the Earth was not a pizza model. They wouldn't debate us, or we were saying that it's a different shape. They wouldn't go into us. But so he actually has a sermon, and the rollout of that was with Will. So not only are they doing the final experiment, they have a nationwide sermon that McToon has created, where he's going to go to churches and he's going to give a presentation on why the Earth is a sphere biblically.
And Looney Tunes is one of the most like Antichrist. Him and Jaren are like the most Antichrist characters you'll find in this whole narrative. And for him to go speak at fake Pastor Dufas's church, I mean, get out of here.
Yeah, he ministered to the church. Look at this, and you can see alien symbolism in a lot of their channels. Him, Simon Dan.
All the space ballers are into aliens.
This is Pluto, and you can literally see the outline and shape of Pluto on Pluto, right? Spinning balls. Come on, people. So you're going to see they're commonly all the same. The final experiment, obviously MC Toon is fans of. Professor Dave, Fight the Flat Earth, Dave McKeegan, Simon Dan, Jake the Asshole actually shows up. He got shout outs from a lot of these channels. Surprisingly. I was shocked. You don't see Awake Souls there too often. or the Limitless channel. Never. Jeranism, obviously they're friends. Witsit gets it. They're pretending to be enemies, but all they do is work together. Listen, how did they say they would defeat their enemies? By controlling both sides. That's how the Rothschild family and since the beginning of time, Azazel and his fallen angels have done the exact same thing. They've set up both sides to fight against each other, controlling both sides, because if Jason and I were able to walk into the argument or debate, we would destroy them publicly, and then they would lose all their power, and Earth would be fixed and immovable like it actually is. Critical Think is another character that is headed down there with them, and we'll definitely get to his card after. We got Wolfie 6020 again, who wouldn't participate in this. He decided to sit it out. I think he bought them the GPS tools, and I think he sent Critical Think down, or Critical Think was rich, or ALE paid for all this. I don't know. Where's Wally is another character that wanted to go on the trip, but he didn't make it. And Creaky again. So who is MC Toon against? Well, he's against us. He's also supposedly against Witsit. He's doubly against David Weiss. He really goes against David Weiss. A lot of these characters do. He's made videos against Nathan Oakley, and Jake the Asshole, again, makes it in 2 areas, as you can see. So a bunch of these characters they're against, and they're for. Right? It's so easy to see. Let's move on. We got Dave McKeegan. This guy here, verified. Check mark. Right? So we haven't had a check mark yet on the ballers in space, but there's going to be more. Professor Dave, Simon Dan, Dave McKeegan, verified. It says here he's got 175,000 subscribers, 27 million views, 475 videos. He created his channel way back, almost on my birthday, August 7th, 2006. One more day, he would have been August 8th. So 17 years his channel's been around for. He is verified, and yeah, he fails all 10 of the fundamental truths.
So that's probably the oldest channel out of the group, right?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah. Professor Dave might have him beat. We'll have to see. We're not going to get to his card tonight because he's not in the experiment. Dave McKeegan started making preview videos about cameras and lenses 6 years ago. So his channel was around, but he wasn't active. On November 24th, 2022, Dave decided to become a flat Earth AE map debunker, and his channel views skyrocketed. Dave was selected to be the Globe Earth damage control guy. He inverts and twists lies to lull glurfers into cognitive dissonance. Dave is currently on his way to Antarctica to be filming the 24-hour sun for the final experiment. So, he's for the same characters that we've listed in the last two cards, nothing different except for he didn't call out Jake the asshole. This one guy didn't, but the rest of them did. He's against us off the bat. Obviously, he's been making videos trying to debunk the things that we've been saying, clouds behind the sun, underlit planes. He tries to have all of, like I said, he's got all the inverted glurfer cognitive dissonance. So when he comes up with his statements and his illogical, irrational inversions, people then will take that and say, well, we believe it because Dave McKeegan said so. He calls out Bart Sibrel, who exposed all the astronauts, but still promoted that there was outer space and that they were actually able to shoot rockets up into the sky. So he's against David Weiss. He's against Flatzoid. One of his first videos was against Flatzoid, who we're going to get to in the next section. And he likes to call out Nathan Oakley. So the last card of the ballers involved in the final experiment right now, Critical Think. This is a new guy. He's got the Wolf Pack, so he's repping the Wolf, which is the Wolfie 6020 crew. And you remember Will Duffy could not believe it, but he brought his kid into the whole entire experiment. And you asked him, why would you bring and subject your kids to this stuff? I can understand you doing it, but why bring your kid into it? He said, oh, I know flat earthers are evil or wicked or bad or whatever he said. And, they're both sides. Sick, demented, twisted characters involved in this. Critical Think started mocking Flat Earth 6 years ago with all the other glurfers. So they all started between 2017 and 2018. All of them. Professor Dave was the earliest, then Simon Dan, then Critical Think, and then MC Toon and Fight the Flat Earth. They all started at the exact same time when the rollout. So they were all probably hired by YouTube, by the governments of the world. Remember when they did the thing in the government, Jason, where they asked them, so what's your plan? You're just going to put a banner below the videos that say that flat earth isn't true? Remember?
I do remember.
So they said that overtly, but publicly, but hidden behind the scenes, what they did was they started creating these channels to start psyoping and pinning the flat earth fake AE map and model, and they wanted to pin that to the Bible. That's been their plan. So it goes on to state, Critical Think likes to perform tests that only confirm his bias, that actually have nothing to do with the shape of the earth. Critical Think supposedly crowdfunded his golden ticket to Antarctica with the final experiment. Critical Think thinks he's saving humanity from the evil flat earthers, yet thinks he lives upside down. Again, he's got the same characters that he rolls with, and he's against a few different ones. He calls out P-Brain, which isn't hard to call out. P-Brain's an absolute P-Brain, who we showed that the AE map model didn't work 8 years ago as well. Phuket Word gets shout-outs from this Critical Think guy. Antonio Subrets also got a considerable amount of attention from Critical Think. And Nathan Oakley. But as you can see, Critical Think, he's only got 3.6 thousand subscribers. He's very low on views. 214 videos. He's been around for 5 years, and he's not verified, and he fails all 10 truths. So these are the cards, Jay. This is the characters involved in the Ballers in Space side of it. You got Will. He started the whole thing, supposedly. MC Toon, who's one of the main characters, who's now fighting with Jaren and Witzid and their thing. And then Dave McKeegan, who's there, the photographer, who's there to be filming the 24-hour sun. And Critical Think. That's it.
That's fantastic. It's not going to be long now, and we're going to be able to start showing everybody's positions, the directions every person's going, right?
Yeah, we'll lay the cards out on a flow sheet, a flow chart, and we're going to get more deeper into that. Do you want to take a song break?
Let's do it.
More when we come back.
Tell me, where have you been? Ask me what it's like where I've been. Can you feel the melancholy? Tell me where I should be now. Tell me what it's like where I could be if I thought were so disgusting. It pushes and pulls me. We think some things that we don't mean. There's still time left to spend. We're still here, playing pretend. There's only melancholy pouring out from me. Is there nothing left? We keep going on, although we know it's going wrong. There's only melancholy pouring out from me. There is nothing left. Tell me I'm empty. There's nothing of me left. Let's try. Can we communicate how we've been feeling of late? Or did we both disassociate? There's still time left to spend. We're still here, playing pretend. There's only melancholy pouring out from me. Is there nothing left? We keep going on, although we know it's going wrong. There's only melancholy pouring out from me. There is nothing left. There'll be nothing left of me when I'm done with my whole body. I'll leave you nothing left to grieve. Oh, oh.
And we're back. Who was that, Ronnie?
That was Distant N with their brand new song. No, that was Distant N performed by the Upsetter, which is a brand new tune. A little bit harder we like to do. We got all styles of music. Again, if you tune in on Sunday, if you check it out, we'll have a link posted to the Rumble channel. I lost my YouTube channel. I have all different styles and genres of brand new music each and every week. We take the power back from the mainstream music outlets, as well as we do it from the YouTube shills. We do it from the New World Order handlers and everything. So I could not believe it. I tuned in. I was trying to see what these guys were saying today, and I went on there. I had to call them all clowns. If anybody wants here, let me put the link in the chat. Anybody can go and watch. You'll see I show up about, I don't know, 3 hours in to the podcast. I could not believe it. I didn't even notice it till I was halfway through. I looked up and he had his Don't Fart shirt on. Who, if you can't tell that this guy was brought in to make a mockery, I don't know if he's a Freemason. He was trying to argue so many things. These guys wouldn't even let me, this other guy over in this corner wouldn't even let me, all they wanted me to say, excuse me, is yes or no. I wasn't labeled. They didn't want me to describe what I wanted to say. And they said, that's anti-biblical, the way that they were trying to argue. So this is what happened at the end. I just want to point out that this is Flatzoid. I had to go on. They were debating. He was saying that he didn't even think they were going to get on the plane and go to Antarctica. I mean, just the stuff.
Well, that's his prediction, I guess, right?
That was his, yeah. And you could tune in to hear more clear from his own words, exactly. And then you got this guy who just screamed and yelled and chain smoked. This is that Sovereign Soul guy who is on a podcast with Jaron, but then goes on this podcast and like totally talks behind his back. Like he's his enemy at the same time. It's beyond hypocritical. I really think people should go in, but he started saying that the final experiment, here he's pleading to me, he was saying it's a false dichotomy. Just listen to this.
And we're saying this whole TFE is a false dichotomy. It's a waste of money and time.
So
That's
when
the
you
argument.
say false
If the sun really is setting or not,
can you explain
doesn't
how
matter.
is it a false dichotomy, Flatsoid? How is it a false
because it doesn't matter.
No,
It's
explain
not
to me
going
how
to
what is a
prove or
false
prove
dichotomy?
anything.
What are the two things that are dichotic to each other? It's the globe and the circling ice wall.
Did you even watch my debate with Duffy?
Right? Those are the dichotomies, right? The AE map with the ice ring and the dome versus the globe. That's what the
Did I
what do you mean?
present the IE map once?
It's not flat versus sphere. It's AE map versus globe. That's
No,
the dichotomy.
it's flat
No,
versus
it's
sphere.
How could he say that? Does anybody want us to go to the Final Experiments website and show you the logo that's behind Will Duffy the entire time?
Yeah, flat versus sphere is the false dichotomy, and that is literally what the Don't Fart guy here. He's doing the exact same false dichotomy. Exactly.
Yes. He's performing perfectly as the controlled opposition. Perfectly. Because it's not about whether or not the Earth is flat. We all know it is. It's measurably, provably flat and motionless. It's that they've created a straw man map with a AE map with the ice wall, with the pole, with the single Polaris in the middle and everything rolled, and they're debunking that. And he also thinks that that's the only possible model of reality, and he fights vehemently for it being biblical while misusing words like rakia, while taking you to the Freemason blue letter Bible concordances. Everything that they do is completely handpicked. Let's move on past that. I put the chat in there. If you want to see the whole thing, they just talk over me, swear and call me names. Here, don't worry, okay, everybody. It's not the end of the world, the AE map being debunked, okay? Jason and I, we debunked it 8 years ago. Even longer. I think 10 years I've been doing this, debunking it from. At least, okay? All right? It's the end of the illusion for most people that believed in that stupid ice wall spinning map thing. Okay? Please, everybody, don't worry. Please. Let's keep going. We got some more here. NASA sees colonies on the moon by 1978. Anybody that wants to come and tell me that you think that Elon Musk is going to Mars, I would like to show you that I've been saying this for a while. This is the first time I got the actual screenshot from the newspaper here, from the Herald.
Look at the fancy wheels on those buggies.
July 21st, 1969. NASA sees colony on the moon by 1978, huh? What happened? Earth's a ball, though, right, Will? You know what they'll do is they'll tell you, because no one's been able to, Simon Dan will tell you, because no one's been able to get a picture of the whole flat Earth map, that it's not a flat Earth, right? Well, when the furthest we can see and discern is 60 miles. Everything pixelates out, and due to angular resolution, we can't see anything past that for the height that we can go to. You can't go any higher. Hot air balloons pop. There's no pressure for any vehicle or craft to push off of. You can't. That's where reality ends. It's black. There's nothing above it. There's no stars. There's nothing. Here it says Earth isn't spinning. Moving 20 miles an hour, you can clearly see the stack of smoke. But the Earth, when a volcano erupts, you clearly see it go straight up. It's pretty basic, isn't it, Jay?
It's basic, yeah. And you can't have the Velcroed air and being able to fly the same, like two different directions, east or west, in the same amount of time, and all that. You get into a frame of reference contradiction one way or the other.
Yeah, huge. It hypocritically contradicts itself every single turn of the way, the sphere Earth, okay? Will Duffy and his experiment and his observation, it's not going to change the fact that if there was proof, if NASA was actually doing what they're doing, there wouldn't be an argument. Jason and I would be following the truth. We don't have a horse in the race, per se. Going to space here, this is going to space. They load it into this, what do they call these things, Jay? These big planes, the Hercules. We used to get them flying over where I lived in northern Canada. They're really loud. They just push it off the back, and this thing falls down to the Earth. That's it. That's the capsule. They don't go to space. They just fall down to the ocean. And they probably don't even put people in them because they probably die when they hit the ground here. So There's been a lot of talk about the ISS. Somebody here has put together a compilation or a small clip that suggests that there's a good chance that it's just a spy plane.
Hey, hello there people. Joseph here. We're going to take a look at the theory of the International Space Station. Now, I absolutely had to make this video tonight. It's not an experiment, but I just thought to myself, hang on a second. This is unbelievable, this picture that I've just recently seen of the ISS. Because I was only speaking in my last video about how it notoriously looks like not a B2, a U2 spy plane. And my goodness me, you've really got to take a look at this picture.
I mean, we don't have to play anymore. I suggest that there's a good chance it's either a glider, a balloon, all the things that they have up there. I believe that they're the Starlink, right? They're gliders, and not only that, I think that all the planes are carrying transponders and receivers, and they're all able to drag data and send data, and they're all working together to create a big net, a big mesh system, like an internet web, as well as towers and underwater sea cables, as well as the dew line all the way through North America. And I do believe that Russia has its own dew line, so the entire northern region of the map is all covered by giant what do they call it, transponders? Is that the technology that sends signals out? And what they do is they bounce the internet signals off of the sky, and that at any angle you can bounce it, and then you could take a receiver like a Starlink satellite dish and point it backwards at that spot, and you're still able to connect to these different places. How about that?
Absolutely. And we did cover recently on angular resolution how the ISS being 361 feet wide and 250 miles high put it right at the absolute threshold of angular resolution where it could possibly be depicted as a single pixel.
1 pixel.
Right.
But Red's rhetoric, or astronomy mutt, will show you a picture like this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like hundreds of pixels, completely defying the actual physical measurements and boundaries. This is an interesting place here. I don't know if you've heard about this place, Jay. Check this out.
This is the only place in the world where time doesn't exist. Sommerøy, a hidden gem off the coast of Norway, is unlike anywhere else on Earth. Located above the Arctic Circle, this island experiences 69 days of uninterrupted daylight in summer and long stretches of darkness in winter. In 2019, the islanders captured global attention with their playful idea of abandoning the traditional 24 hours clock. Though it was a clever tourism campaign, the concept reflects how the 300 residents live unbound by time. Locals can be seen playing football, swimming, or hiking in the middle of the night, taking full advantage of the midnight sun. With clear skies, pristine waters, colorful homes, and the magical northern lights in winter, Sommerøy offers a life free from the pressures of a daily schedule. It's a place where time becomes irrelevant, making it the perfect escape for anyone looking to unwind and reconnect with nature. If you're not following, you're probably never going to see us again. But if you are, congrats. You're on a journey of continuous growth.
Amen to that. Absolutely. I would love to go there. Where was the place again? Where did they call it? Summer?
In northern Norway, an island.
Yeah, there was a name here. Sommerøy. So
yes. All you have to do is be at least 66.5 degrees north or south, and you will have days of the year where the sun never sets.
My question is, do these people have internet, and why haven't they been loading all of their footage online? Is this the place where Zworst had that footage from? Was it? I know it was somewhere over there. You're not Norwegian, are you?
Well, half Norwegian.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Check that out. This could be where your descendants are, Jason. Some of your family members. Let's keep going here. Have you seen they got bugs in space now? On the ISS, they got bugs. I can't zoom in anymore. It's really bad quality. But,
all right. First, you'll see
the
in
bug
there.
I mean, could there be like flies and stuff on the ISS if it was real? I mean, I guess there could be, right?
I'm going to put arrows so you can see.
Someone in the chat's from Lofton. Are you from Lofton, Norway? Jason's Loftenberg, which means tall mountain or
can
running
clearly
mountain.
make out
Right?
that it's
We got
fly.
Lofton. There's another bug right there.
I don't know. These life cycles, I mean, flies don't live all that long. All it would have to... I don't see how you could have flies in outer space.
They've got lots of them if you're paying attention nowadays. We're almost through here. Check this out. Irrefutable flat
You can
Earth
just hover.
experiment.
This is an experiment that absolutely proves the Earth is not a ball and isn't spinning. But it doesn't involve complicated equipment. It's just a helicopter. Imagine you take a helicopter and fly it up to around 15,000 feet. You can just hover there completely still, not moving an inch in any direction, north, south, east, or west. Therefore, if the Earth is spinning beneath you, shouldn't the ground shift while you're hovering? But when you keep hovering at, say, 20,000 feet for 4 or 5 hours, you can come right back down to the exact spot where you took off. Think about what that implies. It suggests the ground isn't moving. Some might argue that the helicopter has inertia, but let me explain it this way. If you and I are both running on a track and we're equally fast, and I take the inside lane while you run on the outside, who is going to win? You would, because the outside lane is a longer distance. Therefore, the same logic applies to the Earth's spin. When a helicopter goes up to 20,000 feet and hovers for 4 hours, it would not only need to rotate with the Earth at 1,000 miles per hour, but it would actually have to move even faster to end up back at the same spot. In this scenario, the Earth wouldn't remain connected to the helicopter. Instead, the helicopter would have to compensate for the supposed spinning motion of the Earth and cover an even greater distance to land in the exact same place. Therefore, if the ground beneath you doesn't shift during this hover, doesn't it suggest the Earth is stationary?
You betcha.
Really, really simple logic, right? Really simple, everybody. Really simple. Satellites in space. What I was saying before here, ground-based technology. They've got cables. They've got lots of towers everywhere. They've got boats now. They've also got, I believe, balloons. And I think that they have gliders that are able to descent and then rise a bit above again in altitude. And they're all carrying transponders and receivers, and they can send out and receive signals. And they're creating a net around everywhere. I don't.
And every airplane that's up in the air too
every airplane
is part of the network.
Yeah, and we figured that out. We were the first ones. I know Dirty David Weiss stole it from us, but we started noticing that during the Cerveza bug thing where they shut everything down, they mandatorily kept all the planes just flying. And we were like, what? Why would they do that? Because we know that they're not actually using as much fuel, but it's still some fuel to run the certain types of motors that they have. But we realized it was because that's your Starlink. Right? And they have other things all connected. Last link of the night. Check this out. Scientists, I kid you not, scientists say they discover remnants of another planet buried within Earth. This is real. This isn't fake.
Well, the mud flutters are going to love this, huh?
Yeah, so it was Tiamat. They state was some other planet that crashed into Earth, right? Tiamat. And then the broken off piece of the Earth supposedly coalesced and then, due to gravity, turned into the moon. And that's now tidally locked and continuing to spin perfectly around Earth so that you only ever see one face, which is a complete spinning balls heliocentric debunk in itself. But so now they're saying that they've actually found another planet inside Earth. Is that hollow Earth theorists? We're going to have Admiral Byrd, who the flat earthers like Mark Schill Sargent swears is like they were shooting up rockets. There is a dome, Admiral Byrd. And we're going to trust the Freemason, who also said that he flew into the hollow planet Earth.
Yeah, and the deepest they've gone is 8 miles, yet they know some ancient civilization that's...
Yeah.
Get out of here.
So, I mean, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Again, we just want to do our best to constantly show you guys the truth. We're going to have more Illuminati agent cards. We still have to break out the stereographic biblical virtual reality cards as well for Jason and I, and so that people can see. And then we're going to have to create the flow chart. Stay tuned, because the final experiment's just starting to go. Now, they should have live streams from Antarctica. I'm pretty sure they've got it set up because they're doing all kinds of psyops there. They got people crossing it. They're doing everything possibly that they can. So make sure you're staying tuned in. We're going to give you coverage like no one else, right? We don't have any Patreons. We don't have any Ko-Fis. We do this because this is what we're passionate about. We love the truth, and we just want to document it.
This weekend, we should be getting results from Antarctica. And we'll be covering it, and we'll be tracking the direction it goes, and we'll be the one model left standing because we're the only model that has predictions for what's taking place. Neither the pressurized pizza domers or the ballers in space have, well, we saw one. We saw one prediction, right?
Yeah, but he couldn't use stellarium or time and date for his model.
Yeah. And he said it just goes sort of low here, and it sort of goes up here. And I had to do it like this because I can't do it to scale.
Can't do it to scale. Couldn't put it around Capricorn.
Oh boy, it's been great, but there's more coming, right?
Oh yeah.
And we'll stay with the coverage of it. Anything else, brother?
No, that's it. Thanks a lot for your presentation. Make sure everybody stays tuned. Probably around I would say maybe 5 o'clock tomorrow. Maybe 5 or 6. We'll drop that moon video or something. I don't know. We'll see. It's up to you, Jay.
We'll get that published.
Yeah, make sure you hit the bell notification here on the Awake Souls channel. And stay tuned also for the Rise and Grind on Sunday. We'll get some news, some brand new music. We'll do it with a little bit of fun, and we'll have a good stream. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You are only going to hear this on the true biblical Hebrew name. That's Team Yahweh Shai News Networks.
I